Hey, what's up guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're finishing off my power rankings by talking about my preseason 2021 Season 4 power rankings for the North American region. Make sure you stick around to the end, like the video if you enjoy it, and subscribe to keep up with the channel. So please, show your support, do all the good stuff. Let's get into it. Number 12. The Vancouver Titans. I don't think anyone will be shocked to see Vancouver here. Nothing on their roster gives backing to saying this team will look competitive. Shockwave played the biggest part in every win the team got last season, and now he's gone. Once more, the average level of teams for Season 4 is just massively better than it would have been last year, when Vancouver arguably had a better roster than this one. Many players on this team are yet to be proven properly, and I don't see them beating any North American teams, while they definitely could. Number 11. The Paris Eternal. Once again, not a shocking one. I don't think they'll really make a push in any of the tournaments. A positive aspect of the team is that I like how they have a mix of rookie players who are going to be more developmental, while having those OG proven players like Neptuno and Onigod. Overall hopes for Paris aren't very high, but watching them battle their EU rivals London will be a fun experience for many fans of this team going into the next season. Number 10. The Houston Outlaws. This is expected to be another classic Houston season. I'm interested in the impact that Jake's role will have on this team, being more of a player coach, and how that will influence the development of some of the rookie players here. Dante and Happy definitely could put some work in and help these guys finish higher than many are expecting, but that is a big question mark and a big what if for the Houston Outlaws, not giving much backing to putting them any higher than number 10. Number 9. The Boston Uprising. For the first time since Season 1 of the Overwatch League, Boston looks decent. Boston fans will be happy to hear that this rank for Boston, I think, is quite underrating. I definitely see Boston being able to move up probably 2 spots if things go well. They have fixed many of the issues they had last season. Plus they have a good mix of players, meaning they'll actually be able to have substitutes that will be of use. For example, Fusions could be a super type player, specialising on Reinhardt. Still, however, you don't expect this team to consistently go far in tournaments, but I can see them making a run through the bracket of one of the tournaments in a good meta. Number 8. The London Spitfire. The London Spitfire, British Hurricane Deluxe Edition. This team is the biggest chance the EU scene has ever had in Overwatch to prove that they are a legitimate, competitive region. Before the Shax signing, I was worried about this team at the hitscan position before Sparker comes eligible, but Shax really completes this team. For London fans, the biggest worry I think is in the support line. They have no subs, so double flex support may be a problem. Plus, neither of these players were impressive from what we saw of them last time they were in the league. On a lighter note though, the rest of the team really has a chance to be competitive in a few tournaments. A good meta could see them make a run. I definitely see London moving up one position from here, but if things go poorly, I can also see them dropping below Boston and Houston. Number 7. The Atlanta Reign. One of the more disappointing teams from last season was the Atlanta Reign. They've definitely made improvements, but are they even in the right places? Let's get the bad stuff out of the way. They have stuck with last year's tank line. Last season, Gator and Hawk didn't do a whole lot in pushing Atlanta to their peak potential. However, I still think going into next season, they could be solid. If, however, we see a meta in which you rely on the tanks to be making plays, this team could crumble. Also, they've stuck with Massa, which I'm not a big fan of. Last season, he was definitely one of the most underwhelming main supports. So let's hope he has improved going into the most competitive season we have had yet. The biggest question mark, though, is in the coaching. This coaching was extremely confusing to fans last year, and no changes have been made at this position, which is by far the place this team needed changes the most. What about the good stuff, though? Well, this DPS line looks incredible. Without a doubt, the DPS line will be pushing Atlanta to its max. If the other parts can keep up, then they can go far. If not, they'll just fall flat on their faces. Number 6. The Florida Mayhem. I don't understand why people have this team top 5 in NA. They are a good team, definitely. But other teams, from a preseason perspective, are just better. OGE is definitely a downgrade from Fate, and in my opinion, a huge one. Fate, I feel, was a huge part of Florida's success last season, and him being gone will be a huge loss for the team. Everyone that's ever worked with Fate notes how he was such an intelligent player and shot caller, emphasizing the fact that OGE is a big downgrade from him. They did upgrade at main support, however, which was a very important upgrade this team needed to make. Overall, like many other teams here, the reason they're so low is not because they're a bad team. It's just that other teams are a lot better this season than they were last season, where Florida had found their most success ever. Number 5. the Toronto Defiant. The general consensus about this team is to have them below Florida. I think, though, there is too much top-tier talent here to put them any lower. Hisu is one of the best snipers in the league, while having a godlike Sombra. His flexibility onto the Tracer and McCree is understandably where people have concerns. Then there's Sado. Despite him having 2 poor seasons, there is no denying the phenomenal season he had last year. I personally feel that this was thanks to the coaching of KDG that he had, which is where my favourite part of this team comes up. KDG is the head coach here. I think that he is definitely one of the best coaches we've had in the league coming out of last year, and having here should make Toronto fans ecstatic. The downside of this team is the amount of unknowns they have. For example, last year one of the most important roles was off-tank, but Toronto has a guy that hasn't consistently started for a whole season in Michelle. That being said, I feel between the world-class coaching of KDG, incredible mechanics of Hisu, consistent performances of Lastro, and the flashy plays of Sado, Toronto will be able to regularly hold their own against all of the top-tier teams, while dominating those lower down. Number 4, the Dallas Fuel. Dallas Fuel, Element Mystic, whatever you want to call them. This team looks sharp. In terms of DPS and tanks, I don't see a player who I can question. Every player plays a role, and they play that role well. The DPS line do a great job of covering heroes that others don't. The issue here would be the Tracer. The tank line, on paper, is indisputably one of the best in the league. Fearless had the best redemption season of a player we have ever seen, without a doubt, while Hambin had an extremely memorable rookie season. Where people have concerns is in the support line. We all know that Jexay and Repel can do good, but coming off their most recent season with the Outlaws, it's difficult to have full faith in them until we really see them play against some top teams well. While I find it difficult to see Dallas any lower than 4th in North America, it's definitely a possibility. So Fuel fans, don't get too excited that you're going to win the season, because that would be a very difficult task. Number 3, the Los Angeles Gladiators. This is an interesting one. Unlike some other teams, there's no chance the Gladiators are not competitive in 2021. Every position is stacked to a super team level. Gladiators should go far in every tournament played, and are looking to be an international top 4 by the end of the regular season. But this will be difficult. There is no world in which I can see Gladiators struggle on any particular meta. I think they have everything covered very well. But why are they number 3, you ask? Well, the 2 teams above them, in my opinion, have something that I don't see when I look at the Gladiators. The teams above them have multiple players who can carry an entire series. Players that can dominate the competition, no matter what caliber of team they play. And that brings us on to number 2, the controversial pick of the day, the San Francisco Shock. Why number 2, you ask? They've won 2 seasons back to back. What are they doing not at number 1 North America? Well, the biggest trouble for this team is not going to be an internal issue. Each player on this team, I feel, has the ability to lead these guys to another win. No doubt in my mind. However, I don't have them number 1, as I just feel number 1, on paper, just better. Shock is obviously a phenomenal team, and if they find success, nobody, myself included, will be shocked, pun intended. But the caliber of other teams has dramatically increased this season, and the trouble they will have is beating so many other good teams, not overcoming weaknesses in their own team. This all being said, Shock definitely has the raw talent to be able to dominate against the best of the best. The biggest benefit that Shock has, in my opinion, is Krusty. As long as Krusty is with this team, they will be title contenders easily. Now, number 1, the one you've all been waiting for, the one that no one would have expected, the Washington Justice. Oh my god, what have I done? Washington Justice, number 1. Have I been possessed by some demon? Am I being controlled by the hot takes master? No, I haven't. If a North American team is going to deny the Shock the 3-peat, everyone's saying it will be Gladiators. I think it will be the Washington Justice. As I mentioned when I was talking about the Gladiators at number 3, the Washington Justice have so many parts on their team that will allow them to dictate every match they play. This team has the players who can make role stars look like bronze players. The Justice have a beautiful mix of veteran players, the types who are in the discussion of best Overwatch player of all time, and rookie players, with the skill to take down some of the juggernauts of the Overwatch League while possessing the motivation and hunger to succeed, as all rookies do. Thank you so much for watching. Comment below your order that you'd have the North American teams in. Who do you think is going to win it all? Let me know. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.